Hi, Joss Whedon. Everybody loves what you did with the Avengers. The previous movies were good, but what you did with the Avengers was fantastic. So, would you be willing to work on any future Marvel movies, like an Avengers 2 or Ant-Man or something like that?
Well, you know, they got Edgar Wright in the house for Ant-Man, so I don't know the status of that project, but if Edgar Wright makes something, then I go to see it. I go to there. Yes, you know, I really care about those characters. They speak to me. I do. You know, I did go straight from that to this, which means they did two things in a row that I didn't originate, which is a little bit rough for me. But those characters, you know, I grew up a Marvel boy, and so I definitely have huge affection for that whole world. So it's, you know, it could happen. Maybe. We're afraid. We'll see.
Hi there. I have a question. I really enjoyed how you portrayed Natasha Romanoff in The Avengers. She was very strong, very feminine, and not the love interest, which was wonderful. Could you say a little bit more about how you thought about the character when you went in to direct Scarlett and looking at her in this group of men?
Well, I love her character in a way that I don't love any of the others, although I love them all for different reasons. She has the most darkness in her of any of them, and that's something that Scarlett and I talked about when we first met up, was that she has a really twisted past, and which meant that in the middle of my superhero movie I got to make a little noir, and that was really fun. And just delving into that and understanding her structure of how she deals with people, the idea of always appearing to be helpless and then using that. It felt like the right character trait. It felt fun. When we shot the first scene with her, the first scene in the movie, where she's all tied up, the producer, Jeremy Latcham, said, you know, this is the only scene in the movie that was in the first draft, word for word. And I'm like, that's actually enormously depressing. But the reason it was that everybody said, no, this just works. And looking at it from that, I realized, oh, this works because it's my entire career. Look, she's helpless. No, she's kicking their asses.
Thank you for everything you've done. My boyfriend is possibly your biggest fan. He's even got your logo tattooed on him. He wants you to sign it. I don't know what it feels like to bring something like The Avengers, which is like this huge comic book that everyone knows from way when, and to bring it to a new generation in a way that, like, even my 3-year-old loves it.
You're warping your 3-year-old. They shouldn't know that there's space portals. That's not something we should find out about till you're 6. You know, a lot of the work was done for me, obviously. I had an extraordinary cast. I had, you know, exceptional filmmakers who had come before. I had a history of reading these characters myself. It really is just a question of loving and respecting these guys so much that when they speak, and when they move, when they do anything, it's the thing you always wish they'd done when you were reading the comic, or occasionally the thing they did do that you can steal because it's awesome. And having that just complete focus on capturing the best moments of them, the best aspects of their characters, the weaknesses, the page turners. It's always, you know, the thing about comic books is every other page you get a chance to surprise somebody with a joke, with a reveal, something horrible, something wonderful. you know, and there's act breaks, there's, you know, every art form has those moments, but nobody has them as often as comic books do. Like, you just can keep bringing that moment, so you're always looking for it. And if you put that in the movie, if it works and it's true to the characters, then everybody's happy. I think that would be the most instant.
Just FYI, I think because you're ready for Bones, they spent the whole time grilling David Boreanaz about Angel.
Well, then we should talk about Bones. Why? Because
Avengers, awesome, but let's talk Cabin in the Woods. What did the film strip bring? Which monster and what was Kevin? And if you don't have an answer, lie to me.
It's not a question of not having an answer, it's a question of whether or not Drew would want me to tell. But I will tell about Kevin. This was a very painful thing for Drew because I was the one who insisted we had to cut Kevin. Kevin was just a guy in a shirt that said the name thing that said Kevin, who would just horribly murdered. But we had so many monsters going on and so many people running from them. I was like, I don't think visually anybody's going to get how awesome Kevin is. So we wanted to show Kevin, and Drew hasn't spoken to me since. No, that part's not true. Now, you also have a good shirt on.
It's a very good shirt. I was just wondering what constraints you found making Much Ado About Nothing, because it was a much smaller budget than the Avengers.
Which, by the way, when I said my answer to the question of why I made it, I forgot to include the fact that it all takes place in one location, which means that I didn't have to buy a location. So that was also a big consideration. Ultimately, you are going to have the exact same set of problems in any situation. If it's Avengers or Much Ado, your actors are doing other projects. Scheduling them is a nightmare. You know, locations are a problem. There's always going to be the same sort of thing. They work on a different level, but it really is. I mean, I spent the first 3 weeks of Avengers going, this is more like making an internet musical than anything I had ever done. We were always one step ahead of the Reaper. The one thing I will say, filming at your house seems like a really great idea. Ah, yes, thank you. It's the address of that guy's family. But here's the thing about filming at your house. All people ever do is mow their lawn and make their dogs bark, and there are airplanes and sound. It was like a nightmare. Apart from that, you know, it really is. You know, I've always, you know, I work with what I've got. When the WB, we didn't have much money. We figured it out. And that was the same with